Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Daily Blend. I am your host, AC, and we are joined today by John Anderson, who you're listed here as a professional practice professor at the Missouri School of Journalism and a retired ESPN SportsCenter anchor from 1999 to 2024. Does that sound right?
That does sound like me. Although I still do a little piece of work for ESPN.
You do?
I have to work 20 days a year.
Oh.
Right. Like that would have been the life if I'd have just said, here's 20 days, that's cool, and take the other 345 off.
That's not how it works.
But no, now I've got a classroom full of kids.
How is that?
Fantastic.
Do you love it?
I love it. And what I have found is for every time that all the athletes I covered and they said they found sanctuary on the field, because so much stuff, I kind of have a better view of that because all of a sudden you're like, there's this email and there's this committee and there's so many other things. Part of that's because I'm learning and I'm new.
Sure.
But when I get to be in the classroom for those 75 minutes and I know what I'm talking about, I'm like, okay, this is really the easy part. So it's kind of funny that you walk in and you're like, okay, I've never taught in officially like that before, seminars and all kinds of other different things, but in this, and you get in and go, okay, this is the easy part, which isn't, I'm not trying to demean anybody, but like compared to all the other stuff, which is just like,
yes,
here, these 75 minutes, it's just us and those 20 kids, and that's a lot easier, and it's great fun.
What class is it?
It is J1300W. W is for writing intensive.
Oh.
So it is a freshman writing course. So we start with everything from, we have been writing leads after leads after leads, and then we'll, profile coming up, and we'll write across different kinds of things, how to write for broadcast, whether it is for print, which, that still exists.
It does.
But prints or blog. The big thing to teach to all of them is very simply, if you're in journalism school, like if you can write, it's the most transferable skill. If you can do that and you can do it well, then you will have a chance to write in any different professions. So
yeah,
that's the big thing. Write well.
That's very true. Yeah,
don't write good.
Don't write good.
Write well.
Write well.
Right.
Okay. My daughter's in the J school right now. She's a freshman, so I'm going to say, do you write good or do you write well?
Hopefully she writes well.
I hope
you can
so.
be a good writer.
Yes.
But you write well.
Okay. I got it now.
There you go.
You can be a good writer, but you write well.
Yes. If the show was longer, we get into further and farther, but we'll let it go.
We'll let it go for now. For now, we'll let it go.
Yeah.
John, coming back here after how many years away?
Too many?
A lot?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. I graduated in 1987. So what's that, 38 years?
Yeah, I don't math well up
something
here,
like that.
but
Yeah.
something.
4 decades.
4 decades.
Which really sounds old.
What? No, it doesn't. It's not old. What is that like coming back here after all those years?
So it's truly kind of an odd and amazing thing. I have told my wife more than 100 times when we lived in Connecticut, when we lived in Oklahoma, when we lived in Arizona, I'm never happier than when I'm here, which is just anything, whether it's walking across the street to go to the Heidelberg, whether it's going to a football game. I just have always been literally my happiest here. Even though I grew up in Wisconsin, I love it, but sometimes my mom and I, that wears out. So I've never been happier than I was here. So that part makes it sort of amazing to be back under the circumstances in which I'm back is really phenomenal. The one part I struggle with is because this is where I went to school and I've been an infrequent visitor. I come back and I see the kids walk through campus and they never age. And I think, that's me. That's exactly what I look like, right? That kid right there with the backpack and his hat on, like that's me. And then I go back home or to the hotel and I look in the mirror, I'm like, that's so not me.
No, it's not.
Right? But that's how I see myself when I'm here. I see myself as that kid, which hopefully wears off and I can bring something to them. It's just the reality of when they always say, man, you need to look in the mirror. And then I go, wow, I'm not him at all.
Well, maybe it won't wear off. Which wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, that would be great. But I don't know that the gray hair, I was very blonde before and now I'm gray. But that's not changing.
It happens to the best of us.
Listen, it's okay. I don't know, what's the saying? I don't always know if I knew where I was going, but somehow I keep ending up where I'm supposed to be.
I love that.
And that's pretty amazing.
I love that. And without that piece, then you're not standing in front of that class that you love so much. Giving them that what they need.
I'm on a golf course just playing golf 345 days a year and on the road for ESPN at track meets for 20.
Yeah.
But this is a really good change, and it's really I'm going to be 60 this year, and so I know the whole age is a number, but it's really kind of fun. It's really revitalizing.
I love that.
Yeah. I love the old job. Just sometimes it's time for that to be the old job.
Understood. And so the change, you've adjusted to the change. We talked a little bit about the hours because you were used to getting in early in the morning and.
Yeah, my class meets at 9:30, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, don't be so loud. I mean, it's early in the morning. I did for literally 25 years. Well, actually, for my entire time in journalism. I left here in 1987, and I got my first job shortly. I graduated in December, so in '88. And I always have worked nightside. Local news, it was great because the day got over at 10:30.
Yes.
And you could be home by 11. ESPN, for most of the years, rare exception, I worked on a show that was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't go to bed till the Dodgers finished.
Oh, wow.
Out in L.A.
Yeah.
You know, every time people say the beauty of baseball is it has no clock, I'm like, the beauty of baseball is just finish. Okay? These 4-hour games are like, so you're just waiting to go home.
Yes.
And you spend all this time. And so for 25 years, I literally got home every day at 2:30 or 3 and was in bed by the crack of 4. If I could get to bed before the birds chirped, it was great. And so now we flip that, and 9:30 does feel like I'm like, I have to get up and milk the cows and deliver my ESPN the paper.
At
I should do that.
9:30?
I should get a Missourian paper route. And now I have class at 9:30 with all these rambunctious kids that are just, lively at 9:30. When I'm like,
if we have paper routes anymore, I will find out and we'll get you one.
Tell the Missourian.
I will tell the Missourian. John Anderson would love to deliver papers in the morning.
I will do it.
And we will bring our cameras to follow you do it.
That would be a
actually.
great story, wasn't it?
It would be an amazing story.
Still
okay,
delivering the news.
before we get out of here, I have to ask you this. Most exciting interview thing you got to cover, top of your head?
Probably 2. There was, I have been fortunate enough to do the last 2 Summer Olympic Games for OBS, which is the world feed, which is basically every place in the world that speaks English that is not NBC.
Okay.
And then the other one is I did an NBA Finals after game, whatever it was, 2 or 3, and I was on set. It was myself, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James. And I introduced ourselves as the NBA's Big 3.
Oh.
And I thought those 2 fools were going to fall out. Like, what did we get ourselves into? So,
But look at that.
yeah,
So
John,
memorable.
Dwayne, LeBron, or as we're known in the NBA, the Big 3.
I love it. I love it. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Who's coming next? I'll take their spot.